Hello and welcome back to Life Prepared. Today I'm going to show you how to make this remote control caddy for the side of a chair or the couch. I think it makes a wonderful gift and just a way to keep things organized. I made sure to make it extra long so that it'll tuck down in the side of the chair and it won't slip out if they put a tablet or a book or something else in the pocket. I hope you stick around and I'll show you exactly how it's made. Welcome back. Let me show you the materials we're going to use for this project. First, I need a piece of batting that measures 12 inches by 30 inches. I need 2 pieces of fabric. They do not have to be the same, but I do need 2 of them. They also measure 12 inches by 30 inches. I have the large pocket. This one measures, again, 12 inches, but 16 inches. And then our outside pocket measures 11 inches by 12 inches. I'm going to take the 2 pocket fabrics, I'm going to fold them in half so that they still measure 12 inches this way, but this one's going to measure now 5.5. And I'm going to take the other pocket fabric, I'm going to fold that in half so we still have the 12 inches this way. And I'm going to take both of these and I'm going to top stitch right along this edge about 1/4 inch down from the fold. Once I get that done, I'll be right back. I have these stitched 1/4 inch along that edge. Now what I'm going to do with this fabric is I'm going to mark it roughly in thirds. And you can either use a ruler or I just take the fabric and I fold it so it's roughly in thirds, and I take it to my iron and I press it really well so I know where those lines are. Once that's done, if you're using a directional fabric like this, make sure you have the correct side up. I'm going to take this and I'm going to line it up very carefully along the edges here so that the bottom and the sides match up. Just going to take a couple of pins to hold it in place. I'm going to take it back to my machine and I'm going to stitch from here down that line to the bottom, making sure to take a couple little back stitches here because it's going to get, use with things being put in and out of the pocket and you don't want it to come apart later. Once I'm done with that, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm done stitching. As you can see, I have 3 areas here. And I'm going to set this aside and we're going to layer up the project so we can sew it together. The first thing I'm going to put down is my batting. Now you're going to have to lay this out on a table. And I'm going to just show you here. Of course, I'm going to layer it up a little bit better before I sew. The batting goes first. Now, whatever you're going to use as your backing fabric, that goes next. And of course, we're going to do our best to match up the corners the best that we can. That has to go right sides up. Now we need our pockets, matching up the bottom corner. Okay, and then we need our outer fabric, right sides down. Matching up all the way around. Now, because we have to make sure this pocket is well in place, I'm going to take a couple of pins and I'm going to make sure that I pin these pockets down on the sides here so that they don't get flipped in the wrong direction. I'm going to do that on both sides, and I'm going to show you a little trick on how I'm going to round over these corners on the bottom. Right here. For the next step, I like to gently round over the corners on something like this. So I went to my cupboard and I found a lid that's got a nice gentle curve, and I'm going to place this on the edge here. And normally I don't take something quite this dark, but I want you to be able to see it. I'm just going to draw along the edge here. Okay, I'm going to do this on all four corners. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to take this to my machine and I'm going to sew a 1/2 inch all the way around, following just inside this line, making sure to leave an opening at the top so that I can turn this the right way around. Now I do take a back stitch at each side because it's a little rough on it when you turn it. Once I'm done with that, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, I stitched all the way around, leaving an opening in the end without the pocket so that we can turn this right side around. The next thing I want to do is trim off this excess in the corner. Just following the line that I drew. Okay. Then I like to come back after I do all four corners and trim off some of this excess batting here. It just helps reduce, especially at the end where all those layers are together. It's going to help reduce some of that bulk in there. Okay, I'm going to continue this all the way around. As you can see, when I got to the opening here, I trimmed it back a little bit because we're going to need to turn this edge under. Making sure to trim it without cutting the backing or what's behind it all the way around. All right, there you go. We trimmed out all the excess. Now the last step we're going to do is we're going to do some relief cuts just on these corners here. You want to just go up to the stitching, but make sure you don't go through the stitching. We're going to do this on all four corners. All right, now comes the fun part, the reveal. You're going to reach your hand inside and feel for the small pockets. They should be on the top side here, because if you do it backwards, you're going to be thinking, I told you how to layer this wrong. And you're just going to pull through the opening. You see why I take a couple back stitches? It takes a little bit of persuasion sometimes to get them to come all the way through. Okay, there we go. Just pop it through. All right, I'm going to very carefully use my hands and press out these corners and the edges really, really well. I get to a point where I like to get the pocket out first. See how I'm kind of pushing my corners, making sure it's as level as I can possibly get it. I'm going to press this down before I do the sides. And continue all the way around the entire project here. Sometimes it's a little fiddly, but it's okay. You'll get them out. That's why you want to leave a big enough opening. If you don't, you can't get your hand in there real easy, which really, really helps you be able to turn this out. I'm going to get to this end. Of course, get those corners out really good. See how nice those look? It helps a lot since you ease those corners over. Make sure they're out nice. I want to turn in the bottom. Got a little extra bulk here I'm going to trim out. Make it a little easier to turn under. Sometimes you don't get quite up to the very edge, so it's okay. Take your time. I'm going to turn these two sides together. If you need to, let your iron help you persuade it to go where you want it to go. All right, here we go. Now I can do the top side here. Match them up the best you can. Give it a really good press. I like to pin the opening shut just to be sure that the bottom and the top stay as level as possible. Because my next step is to go back to the machine. I'm going to do a 1/4 inch stitch all the way around the entire project, making sure I catch this opening really well. I completed top stitching all the way around, making sure to catch this edge where we turned it through. And there you have it. You have a spot for your remotes, your phone, even your tablet, books, whatever you like to store on the side of your chair, so it'll be nice and handy. If you like this project, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that little bell so you'll know the next time I'm doing a nice, inexpensive DIY project for yourself or for somebody you love.